And just like that, the Carolina Hurricanes are up 1-0 in the first round after a dominant 4-1 win on the New Jersey Devils. What a way to kick it off on Easter Sunday.
You're Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to a Monday edition of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you to the Everydayer for making this your first listen of the day. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, talking everything about your Carolina Hurricanes. I'm your host, Zach Murn. I'm the credentialed Carolina Hurricanes beat writer over at the Hiker. It's also the co-host of the Surge Cast, which is a weekly Carolina Hurricanes podcast, along with all my duties here at Locked On Hurricanes. Got a marvelous Monday edition. Is a Victory Monday episode of the pod as the Carolina Hurricanes won 4-1 on Easter Sunday to beat the New Jersey Devils. And what a game by Logan Stankoven, put a little stank on the series with 2 goals on the night. Taylor Hall had a great game as well with 2 assists. And Freddie Anderson doing Freddie Anderson things. We are going to talk about Logan Stankoven in his game. What stood out in Game 1 for the Hurricanes win? And we get to hear from the captain himself, Jordan Staal, with the post-game press conference. Now, with Logan Stankoven, what an absolute game by him. The second period comes out, scores 2 goals, makes it go from a 1-0 Hurricanes lead after 1 to a 3-1 lead after 2. Of course, Nico Hischier did score a goal for the Devils in the second period with less than 2 minutes left, and that was basically their only goal of the game. But Logan Stankoven scores 2 in his playoff debut with the team in Game 1. He actually joins Andrei Svechnikov, who also did it in Whalers history, scored twice in his first playoff game with the team. Andrei Svechnikov did it in Game 1 of the 2019 first round where he scored 2, which is really awesome to see with the fact that it's a debut playoff game with the Canes. He scores 2 in his first time with the team. However, he also joins other former Hurricanes that have scored 2 goals in a playoff game as a rookie. He joins Seth Jarvis, Warren Foegele, of course, Andrei Svechnikov, and Eric Cole. So talk about some really good company to be with here for Logan Stankoven, because you basically joined a couple of your teammates and scoring 2 goals in a playoff game as a rookie. But the fact that he was a rookie to score it in his first playoff game with the team like he did with Andrei Svechnikov. What a night by Stank. Comes out there, does the job, scores the 2 that you need to have. First one, just a great play to keep the puck in. Jordan Staal finds him. Amazing shot to get it through, Markstrom. And then the second one on the power play, just off the rip from that, you get some great transitional play from Burns. You get up to Kotkaniemi. Kotkaniemi kind of chips it to Taylor Hall, and Taylor Hall with the laser pass going from the left corner to the right face-off circle, almost where Logan Stankoven is, and Stankoven with the absolute snipe job. Far post, past Markstrom, the loudest ping I've ever heard off a post, and it goes in. An absolute snipe, makes it 3-1. I'm surprised the roof even stayed on Lenovo Center. That's because how loud it was. 2 goals, 4 shots for Stankoven on the game. 53 minutes of ice time, comes out, does the job, and that's all she wrote. And that helps with the Hurricanes in terms of how that game went out for them. And Stankoven does get the first star, and deservingly so after a game like that where you score 2 goals in your playoff debut with the team, 2 goals on 4 shots, over 14 minutes of ice time. Freddie Anderson gets the second star, and Jalen Sheffield gets the third star. And Jalen Sheffield scored the first goal of the series for the Carolina Hurricanes. And also, you got to talk about some honorable mentions to Taylor Hall, like I said, who also had 2 assists on the game as well. You love to see it from that aspect of it. After the game, Logan Stankoven did say, "I love playing in the big games and meaningful hockey. I'm motivated to try and contribute in any way possible. It's always a nice feeling to get on the score sheet." And that was him after his 2-goal performance. I mean, what more can you really say outside of Logan Stankoven? The fact that he's done really well with the Hurricanes since coming on, and it goes to show of the fact of the impact that if you're looking at certain X factors coming into the series. Obviously, you can talk about like Aho, Jarvis. You look at the defense of Jacob Slavin. You're looking at maybe some depth of Robinson and Rosovic, Andrei Svechnikov, and then another one's Logan Stankoven. In the fact that he's done the fact of his game is he's so underrated in what he does. Like, yeah, he's not like he was like Mark Jankowski, who's coming out, guns blazing, 4 goals on 4 shots, or Taylor Hall's played 31 games and scored 4 power play goals. But Logan Stankoven, when he does put points on the board, he does where you're like, okay, he's noticeable, but also it's like, wow, he's just getting those points that you're like, you look at the game, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that, because that's just how much he's fit into the system already. Then when he has a game where it's like, oh my goodness, here's Logan Stankoven just absolutely popping off. This is one of those games. And the fact he comes out and does it against the Devils, like you're up 1-0 after 1, you shot the lights out in the first period. You hold the Devils to 5. You're I think you're at 17 shots after the first period. You come out in the second and absolutely just blow the doors off of them. And now you're up 3-1, and then you just have Andrei Svechnikov late in the third to score the empty netter. Then that's all you really needed. But it's the fact, too, that this was Stankoven's first full season in the NHL after having a modified less than 30 games last year with Dallas and some playoff games that went to the Western Conference Final. Now he's in his first full season, gets traded at the deadline to Carolina. He's locked up through next year as well with his last year of his ELC, and then you're looking at an extension, and he's going to be one of those cornerstone guys that the Hurricanes want to keep for a long time. I mean, that's why you got him and 4 draft picks on it. But he comes into his first playoff game with the Canes and does a performance like that, and he's doing this with the Jordans. Like, he's doing it with Staal and Martinook. So he's already getting the bigger assignment almost of going up against the Devils' best players. You're talking like Nico Hischier and all of them. Like, that's where the Hurricanes trust Logan Stankoven enough. The fact that he's been with the team since March 7th. And you're talking game 1 of round 1. And he's with the Jordans on the most toughest assignments, basically. And he's also on one of the power play units like that. And the fact he's scoring a power play goal, too. Because I've been saying it pretty much for the last few weeks up until the playoffs. What do you need to get going in the playoffs? You need road wins and your power play to do well. And the Hurricanes did that. They got a power play goal. They're 1 for 3. You love to see it. Hey, they'll ask how many. You got the one. You're 33%. Hey, there you go. And the PK held it down. 2 for 2 on the night. Frederick Anderson will give up 1 goal and was a 5-on-5 on a, credit where credit's due. A nice shot by Hischier that also went, far side as well. But if you're looking at the Canes, special teams ruled the roost. The Hurricanes won that battle. Like I said, you're 1 for 3 in the power play. You're 2 for 2 on the PK. Logan Stankoven's got one of the power play goals. He had a phenomenal game. And you look at that start to finish, you held the Devils to 24 shots. You had 45. Like, outside of maybe, they won 38-20 of the faceoffs and threw more hits than you. But the thing that really mattered is you outshot them, you outchanced them, you beat them in the special teams, and you beat them on the scoreboard 4-1. And who helped lead the way? Well, that's Logan Stankoven's 2 goals in the second period. Like, if people remember the playoff preview that we did with Trey Matthews over Locked On Devils, he said that the Devils are losing after the second period. They've only won 1 game all season. And now you add another loss to that. Of course, it's playoffs, but you still kind of add to that where the fact that that is a game where you have to appreciate that. You have to appreciate the Hurricanes came out and, less than 30 minutes into the game, you get a goal from Jalen Chatfield, an amazing one. You get Logan Stankoven getting 2 in the second period. They got Andrei Svechnikov scoring an empty netter to make it 4-1. Outside of the hits, outside of maybe losing 10, you lost 10 more faceoffs, but you came out and did the job. That's all that really mattered. You won the game in all facets. Puck possession, 5-on-5 in special teams. You love to see that. Like I said, you got Logan Stankoven doing his job as well. But what else stood out from this game? We talked a little bit about the stats, in terms of shots on goal, power play, and stuff like that. But what kind of stood out overall, even just past the numbers? Well, stick around as we'll talk about that here in a second on a Monday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and if you've never been to a live NHL playoff game, which you have to, you're really missing out if you're not going to any NHL playoff games. They are next level, and it's unlike anything else. The intensity, the speed, the energy in the building, it's, like I said, next level. And thanks to Gametime, getting in the door is easier and more affordable than ever. Gametime is the fastest way to grab playoff tickets, even for those must-see matchups. Prices actually drop as puck drop gets closer. And with last-minute deals, you can save up to 60%. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices, and it's guaranteed. Welcome back to segment 2 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. Now, we kind of talked about Logan Stankoven. We kind of talked about some of the other guys as well in their performance, but what kind of stood out overall in this game? And I think from what you saw is the fact that Lenovo Center was absolutely loud. You get to tell right from, from puck drop, from the opening videos, the hype video, just the whole comedy. Like, if you're talking playoff hockey in the non-traditional markets, I put that in air quotes, the non-traditionals, Raleigh, and you can say I'm biased all you want or even unbiased, Raleigh is the place to be at. Lenovo Center is the arena to be in. They're called the loudest house for a reason. Playoff hockey is another level in Carolina, and you definitely saw that if you were watching the game or you were even at the game. And Rod Brind'Amour even said this after the game, too, to give love to the Caniacs from Walt Ruff. I think this building, with the crowd the way it is, I've got to give them a lot of props because that is a big deal when you get that momentum going. You feel that energy. That's Rod giving the Caniacs so much love and appreciation, and you hear it from the guys. They said this is a great fan base to play in front of. This is a great building to play in. If you're the home team, if you're Carolina, you feel that momentum. You feel the crowd. You feel how loud it gets. They get behind them. Opposing players know this place is hard to play in, especially in the playoffs, because it is loud. They are on top of you, and the Canes really feed off that. And I think that's why you look at a record like the Hurricanes have, where you win 31 home games in a season. The only other team that tied them was the LA Kings. So you're talking one of the bigger markets in the league in LA, and you got Carolina, who dominate at home. They're the two teams that had like over 30 points. That's how crazy it is in Carolina. And the fact that they had 45 shots in this game compared to New Jersey's 24, this is from Big Cat Hockey. Every playoff run where Carolina had 40-plus shots in their first game, 2006 and 2025. And they also put, y'all remember what happened in 2006, right? I know I remember because I was actually at Game 7 in 2006. The Carolina Hurricanes won the whole dang thing. So if there's some parallels and some things to like kind of look at, definitely not a bad one to have when you're looking at 40-plus shots in Game 1 of the playoffs. And they did just that. Like I said, 45-24 in shots, 1 for 3 on the power play, 2 for 2 on the PK. Yeah, you lost 10. You had 28 faceoffs compared to New Jersey's 38. 52-41 in hits in favor of New Jersey. But the thing with the Hurricanes is they're not going to go just run hits just to run hits. They're not going to go just pop someone just to pop someone. They're going to go and do it smart. They're going to do it to where they're not taking a lot of the penalties. They're not going to do a lot of, the unnecessary things. Like you see Jordan Staal, one of his hits. You saw Seth Jarvis actually putting a clean hit on former teammate Brett Pesce. Just hit him, right in the center of mass, took him down. It was an absolute fantastic hit. What a way to make yourself known. And, of course, we don't even need to know that for Seth Jarvis. You don't miss a guy like that on the ice. And the fact that he throws a hit like that on Brett Pesce really sets the tone and really sets the momentum of like, hey, we know you're a former teammate, but hey, welcome to the playoffs. There's no love loss here. And it's just, you know, it's the intensity. You're not going to go easy on your former teammates and former friends. My goal is to go win this game, to go win the Stanley Cup. So the fact that the Hurricanes, while they did get out hit, their hits were timed perfectly. They were timed for the right moments. They're not just going to go and throw bodies and throw bodies. And you could definitely tell the way the Hurricanes were playing in this game, it was really frustrating the Devils to where you're getting outshot, you're getting out puck possessed, you're out, just everything the Hurricanes were doing, they were pretty much countering New Jersey. Yeah, Nico Hischier scored a goal, but that was like so late in this. It was like under 2 minutes left in the second period. And at that point, you're down 3-0. And you saw the frustration building for New Jersey because you even saw Markstrom trying to slash Andrei Svechnikov, which good thing that didn't happen, because imagine if you lose Andrei Svechnikov in game one with the most insane slash I've seen in a while from Markstrom. It looks like he was going to try to take him out in the legs. And somehow at the worst timing for Cody Glass absolutely just eats this slash by Markstrom. Like, talk about getting some friendly fire on that. He goes down, and that's in the same play where you lose Luke Hughes, which hopefully Hughes and Glass are okay. I mean, yes, they're on the Devils, but you never really want to see guys get hurt. Like, you hate to see that no matter who the team is. So, you know, hopefully Hughes and Glass are okay, but man, that was a scary moment to see, you know, Markstrom. You see Markstrom go for the windup and try to slash Andre. If that connected, who knows what happened to Andrei Svechnikov? You might lose him for the game. You might lose him for a couple, depending on how vicious that slash is, because that looked like it hit Glass. It took Glass out of the game, and who knows what happens after that? You know, that would have just notched this whole series up another like 10 levels, because you're talking about a goalie who's getting frustrated and just game one is trying to slash a guy like that. And you took out your own teammate. Like, if I'm Sheldon Keefe, if I'm any of the teammates, I'm looking at Markstrom going like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to go and slash this dude? He was not even near the crease, and you're trying to slash him, but now you take out one of our guys in the process. Hopefully he's not out. So if I'm the Devils, I'm looking at Markstrom going like, dude, you have to like be smart. Like, why do that? That's the insane thing to me. It's like, and the ref is right there in the corner. Even if you slash Svechnikov, something that vicious, you're going to get called on. I'm so like, and it's funny, you hear the broadcasters, and even like during intermission breaks, you're like, yeah, that's friendly fire, but do you think that should have been something called there? Because, yeah, he doesn't hit Svechnikov, but he hit his own teammate. Like, there has to be, for me, you can't call a penalty on a friendly fire attack. I get their point of like, it didn't connect on the opposing player, but you could definitely tell that was going to be a vicious slash for no reason because he was nowhere near the crease. I get that argument. For me, I know they're never going to call it. Luckily, they didn't have to. It just stinks for Glass because now he's out. But luckily, Andre did not catch that. But yeah, that was just wild to see something like that. You're talking game one, and it's like this. I think it was like the second period or very early in the third, and you got Markstrom just taking one of his dudes out. So yeah, it's crazy. We look at the Devils now, and they're down to 4 defensemen for the rest of the game. You know, is Hughes going to be back? Who knows? And, you know, they also lost one of their other guys earlier in the game. So now you're down 2 defensemen. You were down Glass. So you're down 3 players already in the series, and you're already down Siegenthaler and Jack Hughes. So that's going to be very interesting. But other things that kind of stood out, I mean, you look at Taylor Hall with 2 assists. Jalen Shafter with a goal got a +3. You love to see it. Andre, Svechnikov got a goal. Martinook Robinson with assists. Dmitry Orlov with a +2. And like I said, Frederick Anderson, how about a game for him? Huge saves when they really needed it. Like I said, he stops 23 of 24, gets a .958 save percentage, and now has, he goes out and plays a phenomenal game, and you definitely need to see that from him. And, Jordan Martinook, he's on a 6-game point streak now against the Devils in the playoffs. You're spanning back to the second round of 2023. He's gotten a point in the last 6 games against New Jersey, and that's talking about where he had 10 points in 5 games in round 2. Big shout out to King Statbrand for finding that and posting it. But talk about a game from Jordan Martinook too. This was an overall well-rounded game from the Hurricanes. Like I said, one of my things was in the preview, play 5-on-5 hockey, you're going to do a good job. They absolutely did that. You got to win the special teams. You got to limit as much as you can. Yeah, you only took 2 penalties and you went 2 for 2. Hey, there you go. You limited the opportunities. You score on the power play. That's definitely needed. Now you're at 33%. Played great puck possession. Played great in all 3 zones. The Hurricanes did what the Hurricanes needed to do, and that is one way to make a statement to kick off this whole shindig of the first round. To now where you're up 1-0 after 1. You don't have a game Monday. You're back at it Tuesday at 6 p.m., which I'll be there. So I'm definitely excited to see what the Hurricanes do in game 2 against the Devils. But now you're setting yourself up to have, if you go and win game 2, now you're going back to New Jersey up 2-0, and you're feeling pretty good about yourselves. But game 1 is a great tone setter for what this series could be. Heck, this could be a tone setter for your playoffs. So you love to see it. Now, post game, we are going to hear from Jordan Staal, get the words from the captain about how he felt after the team's 4-1 win. So stick around, and we'll do that here in a second on a Monday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your pair controller, subscribe, or sign into your Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Avowed, and even NHL 25 if you're really feeling in the mood for it. As easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. Play high-quality Xbox games at a fraction of the cost of a console. Already have a console? A Fire TV Stick 4K device is more affordable and easier to travel with, allowing you to take your or your kids' games wherever you plug in. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Gaming Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices including Fire TV Stick 4K, which is the 2nd gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max, which is 1st and 2nd gen, and Fire TV Cube, which is the 3rd gen. Welcome back to segment 3 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. Like I said, the end of segment 2, we're going to hear from the captain himself, Jordan Staal, and get his thoughts on the Hurricanes' 4-1 win against the Devils. So without further ado, let's jump into that with the captain right now.
Jordan, I imagine you couldn't ask for a much better top-to-bottom performance than what you guys got tonight.
Yeah, everything kind of went. I think power play got one, PK was good. 5-on-5 was great, obviously, and came out strong, and it was a good all-around effort from all the way through, from Freddie all the way up every forward.
Can you talk about Logan a little bit? On your line, he really adds a dimension.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a little more skill than me and Marty, and obviously he can put the puck in the net, and he's a good little player, obviously, finds holes and got good speed and can shoot pucks, so he's just getting warmed up.
Do you feel like the rest showed itself tonight?
Pardon me?
Do you feel like the rest showed itself tonight? You guys obviously were able to dominate the game and the chances.
Yeah, I thought the game was good. It's still they knew we were coming, obviously, in the first game, and they're going to come back and regroup, and they're going to do it over again. It's just one game, and hopefully a long run ahead of us here, and we'll take the win.
And Logan, I mean, not only is he adding some offense, but that's a big assignment to join you guys and take on the matchups you guys take on.
Yeah, he's a smart player too. And without the puck, he's in good spots. He helps when he can, and he pressures the puck well, and he's caught on pretty quick. And I've been playing the system for a long time, and so it kind of ingrained in me. But he's caught this pretty quick, and he's playing some good hockey.
You looked really happy, like on the replay, like you embraced him, you and Martin. Can you just talk to me through that moment?
Yeah, I mean, if I can't score, I gotta celebrate with somebody. So obviously it was a big goal, and Playoff hockey and the building buzzing there's no better feeling. Obviously, you got the anxieties kind of going into the game, and you're not sure how it's all going to play out, and a big goal like that loosens you up and gets you smiling for sure.
You and the guys that rested up, I mean, how anxious were you to play this game?
Yeah, like I said, it was kind of a long week. Obviously a good week. I thought everyone looked fresh and ready to go. It was good, and you're always kind of just chomping at the bit to get going, and we're excited to get into this series, and we'll move on from game one and get ready for two.
Big thank you to the captain, Jordan Staal, and the Carolina Hurricanes, as always. And you heard a lot of great things from him. You look at the fact that out the game overall, he said 5-on-5 looked really good. Power play did its job. The PK shut them down. And that's all you really needed coming into this game. And like I said, you've been wanting to win. You need to win the special teams. They did absolutely that. And I said the Hurricanes need to play a good 5-on-5 hockey, and you got great 5-on-5 hockey where you get 45 shots total. You controlled the pace of the whole tempo, pretty much the whole game, and you go out and do the job. And that's all you can really ask for. And just hearing him talk about Logan Stankoven too, it's like, he says that, he's a great player. He's small. He's shifty. He's very smart. And the fact that he even, like, when they ask him, like, hey, that's a tough assignment for him to go up and play on a line with you and Marty. He's like, yeah, he's a smart player. It takes a lot to, have to go out there and play their assignments of playing, a shutdown game against the top lines from the other team. But he says he fits in quite well, and he does the job. And even Chuck says, yeah, he might have a little bit more skill than us, in terms of scoring goals, but that's the dynamic he brings to the team. And I think that's what's so great about Rod and his system and how he kind of formulates his lines, that he makes sure he has a scorer on every line. Yeah, you look at that top line of Aho, Blake, and Jarvis. Yeah, they got scorers across that whole line, but they know how to work together so well. You look at the second line, which I believe pretty much played a great game. You have Andrei Svechnikov, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, and Taylor Hall all making chances. They did really well together. Of course, we know what the third line did. They were fantastic between the Jordans and Logan. And then you got the fourth line of Roslovic, Robinson, and Carrier. Like, talk about a line of just pure speed and a guy who can absolutely just bulldoze people. And you got William Carrier, who's been there and done that in the playoffs, won a cup with the Golden Knights. You got a bruiser on your line. You got a right-handed shot center that the Hurricanes will love to have, and he scored 22 goals this season. But you also have Eric Robinson, who had a phenomenal season, a career year for the Canes, and hopefully they bring him back. You got his goals and his wheels on that line too. So you basically, that's the thing with the Hurricanes. They even have Tyson Joseph, Mark Jankowski as your healthy scratches, and Scott Morrow. Like, talk about an absolute riches that this Hurricanes team has on the depth, to where they can have a full 12-man forward core and two extras on the forwards to do the job. And that's where you're at right now. And the fact that Jordan, said it perfectly. They were excited, they were nervous, but they're into the game. Now they're waiting for the rest of the series, and now it's on to game 2, which is on Tuesday. But this is where this is your tone setter. And the fact that you set this type of tone will go a long way. And the fact that it's just across the board, the Hurricanes did what they needed to do. Great 5-on-5 play, great on the special teams, great in puck possession, transitions. Freddie Anderson played phenomenal in net. Like, this is a type of game that will set you up perfectly for game 2, game 3, game 4, and however long the series goes. And hopefully it carries over to the next round. So this is a huge game. You love to see it. A big one for the Hurricanes. I cannot wait to see what game 2 is going to be like at Lenovo Center, and hopefully the Hurricanes win it, and then we're going to New Jersey up 2-0. But let's get through Monday first, and then it's Tuesday, and then next thing you know, it's game 2 against the Devils. But that will be the Monday episode of Locked On Hurricanes. Thank you for making your first listen of the day. For your second listen, well, let's go check out Locked On NHL Game Night. Every game, every night until a Stanley Cup champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find NHL Game Night on Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you want to keep up with me, I'm at OneTrueZach on X. The podcast is LO_Hurricanes. I'm also on Blue Sky, the Zachary Martin, so where I have link trees in my bio, so you can check out all of my Carolina Hurricanes articles at thehockeywriters.com. If you want to check out my other podcasts, well, it's the Searchcast on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. For this show, well, Locked On Hurricanes is on Google, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen. Make sure to follow, make sure to subscribe, and leave a 5-star rating and review because I might just read it on the show. For YouTube, well, it's Locked On Hurricanes. Subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss the show. Hit the thumbs up to let me know if you like the show as well. And in the comments below, who stood out for you in this game for the Carolina Hurricanes in their 4-1 win against the Devils? But also, make sure to share with other KX to become everydayers just like you. But hope everyone enjoyed the Monday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. Enjoy your Monday. And until next time, as always, let's go Canes.